Hey, glad you're here. Welcome to Tales from the World's Firesides again. I'm Clive Gilson, as usual, the story guy. Today I've got something special lined up for you. It's an old Romanian tale called The Voice of Death. And it's one of the stories from my collection, Tales from the Land of the Strigoi, and I've given it a fresh twist just for today's telling. So let's get ready, let's get comfy. You can pour yourself something warm, and let's jump into a tale full of mischief and magic. There once was a man who prayed day after day for wealth. He asked not for wisdom, nor peace, nor love, only riches. And, as it happens sometimes in stories like these, the heavens eventually heard him. His request was granted, and his life transformed. He had everything he had ever wanted, everything except the one thing no man can buy: immortality. With this new fortune, then came a new fear. The man found himself haunted not by poverty, but by the looming certainty of death, and so he resolved to find a land where people did not die. He left his home, his wife, and everything familiar, setting off across the world in a search for a place untouched by mortality. From town to town and country to country, he asked the same question: do people die here? And whenever the answer was yes, as it always was, he moved on, until at last he came to a quiet land where the locals answered, "No, no, we don't know death." The man was, of course, astonished. But if no one dies, shouldn't there be great crowds here, cities bursting at the seams? The people shook their heads. Though every so often someone comes and calls a person and that person follows, they just never return. "Do you see this person?" the man asked. "Oh, of course," they said. "He walks among us." The man, both intrigued and baffled, could not understand why anyone would obey such a summons. "I don't understand. Just don't follow him," he said. "It's as simple as that." So, satisfied with his logic, he returned home, gathered his wife and children, and relocated them to the land where no one died, at least not in the usual way. Once settled, he warned them all: if someone calls for you, do not go. No matter who it is, stay put, do not answer. For a time, life was good, quiet, pleasant. Years passed, in fact, in comfort and peace. But one day, as the family sat together in their home, his wife stood up suddenly and said, I'm coming, I'm coming," as if she had just heard a voice call to her from outside. She looked around for her coat. Her husband sprang to his feet. "Are you mad? Have you forgotten everything I told you?" "But can't you hear him calling?" she said. "I'll only see what he wants." He grabbed her by the hand and locked the doors, and she seemed to calm down, and she smiled. "All right, I won't go." But moments later she darted for the door, shrugged off her coat as he held it fast, and disappeared into the distance, calling out, "I'm coming," as if to someone waiting just out of sight. The man stood there, her coat in his hand, staring after her. "Well, if you're determined to go, I can't stop you," he said bitterly, "but don't say I didn't warn you." Time passed. The household remained undisturbed. No one else heard the call, and the man grew older, more cautious and quieter, keeping to himself. Then one morning, while sitting in a barber's chair with lather on his chin, he suddenly shouted, "I won't come. Do you hear me? I said no." The barber and his customers turned to stare. The man, eyes fixed on the doorway, continued, "Go away. I won't follow." He became more agitated, raising his voice until, in a fit of rage, he snatched the razor from the barber's hand. "If he won't leave me be, I'll make him," he cried, and stormed out into the street. Startled, the barber ran after him, if only to retrieve his blade. But the man ran faster, beyond the town, out into the open country, until, just at the edge of the city, he vanished. He had fallen into a deep chasm, one that no one had known was there. The barber returned, breathless and shaken, and told what he had seen. Word spread quickly, and people began to understand. The ones who disappeared had not simply walked away. They had gone to that same place, called by the same unseen voice. A crowd gathered and returned to the place where the man had fallen. But the chasm was gone. In its place lay only smooth, empty ground, as if no hole had ever been there. And from that day on, the people of that strange country began to die, just like everyone else. And that's it for today's story. This one's a reimagining of a classic story collected by Mite Kremnitz in Romanian Fairy Tales, published in 1885 by Henry Holt Company. As you know, I love unearthing these little gems and giving them a fresh spin, breathing new life into old tales so they can reach new ears, just like yours. If you're hungry for more tales, you can check out my books at Amazon, and there's a link in the description below to this particular book, Tales from the Land of the Strigoi. If you're curious about Tales from the World's Firesides as a project, or want to hear or know more about me, Clive Gilson, aka your friendly neighbourhood story guy, then head on over to clivegilson.com. And before you go, do tap that like button. It really helps more folks discover these stories. And if you're not subscribed, now's the time. I've got new tales dropping every week. Until next time, though, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, and keep that storytelling spirit alive. Catch you soon. Take care.